Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mobile Forms Guru. So on this video we're going to talk about how to use choice filter. Choice filter is a very powerful feature on the XLSForm where you filter choices based on an option selected by a user on a preceding question. So it's a way to make your choices appear not so long, despite the fact that you might have many. So it allows you to group choices either based on existing category or either by categories you'd create yourself. So to do this, I'm going to start a new form. So this is just a nifty trick you can adopt yourself. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to left click on survey. I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to make a copy here. So this is just something I do sometimes to validate more than one form at the same time without having to create multiple XLS forms. So once you're validating, the XLS form is only going to look for survey, choices, and settings. Anything else it discards. From our previous videos, we had all these tabs which tell you with the tutorials you're able to see what each attribute does. Entities, start here, and types. But the PyX form doesn't take into consideration any of this. It just goes straight and looks for survey, choices, and settings. So since we're using a new one, I'm going to leave this survey 2 as the old one which we've had previously. So I'm going to clean everything that is on the survey, this survey sheet, which is where I'll be working again. So the survey sheet, the survey 2 is still there, which has the previous form we created. We can always rename this to survey and rename this to something else, maybe survey 1 or maybe another thing else, and then work on it. And so you can be able to validate the same form on the same sheet. So to do that with choice filter, so let's have an idea of what we want to ask. So we want to ask someone to select a country, but we don't want to give them the list of all the countries. We want them to select the region first, or the continent, then we see the list of countries there. So that way our list of countries are truncated, and someone only sees what's applicable to them, or what is applicable to the region they selected. So in that case, we're going to have a select one question here. So this is going to be a select one, and we're going to give it the name region. And this would, the name would be selected region. I'm going to give it the name selected region. And it's going to be please select a region. That would be the question. Then the next one would be select one also, but this would be country. So select one, and I'll give it, I'm going to give it, yeah, let me just say country. And this would be nation. And I'll give it please select a country. And so these are my two questions, right? For the region, someone will select one of the few regions we'll provide, and then from there they can see the list of countries. So what we're going to do here is specify the options for each of the select one question. So for region, I'm going to come to my choices, and I'm going to add the options for region. So these are my options. I'm going to give them a label. I'm going to give them a label. So I'm not feeling, I don't want to type them all again, so I'm just going to do this nifty trick here. So these are the regions we have, right? These are the regions that the user would see once they come up to this first question. But then want the user to select, or the enumerator or the respondent to select a country based on the options here. So I don't want, it wouldn't make sense to show Africa for someone who, show Nigeria, for example, for someone who selected Asia or Europe or Middle East, right? I only want them to see countries with this region. So what I'm going to do here is come down to country and list out all the countries. So this would be country, but my mind you, so I already have a country here, so I don't want to have conflict of options, so I'm going to change this to maybe COUN, just short for country. So this would be count. Yeah. I'm going to just leave it as COU. So these would be my options, so I don't have if you were to do that, if you were to do that and then label Nigeria again with NG here, it would tell you that you have duplicate options that are the same. So I don't want that. These are options for the first survey sheet we're not using anymore. So I'm just going to create this new one. So for the country, for Asia, I'm going to have China, and I'm going to have India. For the Middle East, let's say Iran, Iraq, Lebanon or Lebanon. Yeah. Then Palestine, and then Yemen. And for Africa, so these are my options for all the countries. These are the options I have where the user would select from. But I can categorize these options based on the region selected. So I want to filter the choices the user would see based on the options they select for region. So you're not going to see everything here all together at once. It's going to be based on the option you select. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to give these options a label. So just give me a second there. So now that we have the list of countries and their labels, we're going to apply the choice filter. So to apply the choice filter, what we're going to do is we're going to add an additional column here. So the additional column here would be something like, so I would say, I would give it something like region. So I would say, let's do this. Yeah, so I would give this option region. So the People's Republic of China is in Asia. So I'm going to write Asia here. And so are these other two. So these are the options in China, and these are the ones in Europe. So I'm going to add Europe. We're using the name column, not the label column. So I'm going to maintain everything that's under the name column. That's what the XLSForm would use. So this would be Europe. This would be the Middle East. I'm going to do this. This would be the Middle East. And this would be Africa. This would be Africa. And so these are the options. These are the categorization. These are all the countries I would have listed, but they're going to appear based on the selection made here. So now to apply the choice filter, the final step is this. You come under the option where you want the filter to appear, to apply. So I want nations to be filtered based on the option selected under region. So I'm going to come to choice filter, which is the column here. Choice filter, column M. And I'm going to do this. So I'm going to specify the option. The option is region. So I want to say that the region I specified on the choice sheet should be displayed based on the option selected on the region here. And the question name for region is selected region. And the specify to reference a question in XLSForm, use the $, curly bracket, then the question name. As I said earlier in my last video, I usually copy and paste these things to avoid error. So you might miss a spacing or a letter, and this wouldn't work. So just to avoid these errors, I do this. So region is equal to selected region. So I'm saying the option here is equal to the answer to this question, selected region here, which has the option for region, and these are the options. So based on what Asia is selected here, if Asia is selected here, only the options that have Asia here are going to appear. And so if, for example, I spelled Asia here and I one way and I spelled it another way here, then this option would never appear because there isn't an option specified here. So let's validate our form and see how it appears. So I'm going to save this first, and I'm going to go and validate my form. So now please select a country has no option. But once I select Asia, I only see the countries that are under Asia. When I select Europe or Middle East or Africa, and so this is how you're able to apply choice filter. In reality, I have a total of about 8 or 9. Let's see, we have a total of 15 countries, but you cannot see more than 4 at a time because we've applied choice filter. So that's how you're able to apply choice filter. And you can also go further and apply choice filter to multiple layers. So I'm just going to do that quickly so you would see how it appears. So for example, I'm from Nigeria, so I'm going to use the option for Nigeria. I want you to select the state in Nigeria. So I just don't want the country Nigeria, I want the state. But I want the state to appear only if you select Nigeria. So I'm going to come here and say state. So first of all, we need to define a question. So it's going to be select one. I'm going to select this one. So this would be state. And then this would be state also. And then please select a state, for example. That would be my label. So I'm going to come here and specify the states. So state. So I'm going to come here and specify the state, and I'm going to write maybe Bauchi. We're going to have Kano. We have Kaduna, and let's say we have yeah, let's leave it at that for now. So I'm going to have these 3 options, and I'm going to give them a label. So this would be Bauchi State. This would be Kano State. This would be Kaduna State. Now these are my options, but they're only under Nigeria. So what I would want to do here is write country here. This would be my choice filter, and they're only going to appear when someone selects the option for Nigeria. So I'm going to copy Nigeria and I'm going to paste it here. As you can see, I can't use the same layer. I can't use the same layer as I can't use this same layer because this is a column for region. So if I want another choice filter that uses a different one, I need to add it. And as you can see under the hint here, it says you can include any number of additional columns to provide information. So if you have 15, 18, 20 choice filters, you could have them all here under the choice sheet. So now you're only going to see this if you apply the choice filter. So what is our option here? It's country. So we are going to say country here, which is what we specified on the choice sheet, is equal the option selected for nation. So for country, which is nation, that's the name of the question. So we're going to specify nation as the question, which is going to be nation. Then we're going to close our curly bracket, preview. And so if I select Asia and any other nation, the option for select a state is not going to appear. But once I select Africa and select Nigeria, then the options appear. So you're able to have a multi-level choice filter. So you could have, let's say, from just as I did here, so you could have all the list of regions or continents, then you have all the list of countries, but they're filtered by regions, then you have all the list of states or cities in the world, but they're filtered by country, or maybe major cities, and then you could have neighborhoods or areas or any choice filter you want to drill down. So maybe under Bauchi State, I would want to go to local government. So maybe I know the local government in Bauchi and the ones in Kano and the ones in Kaduna. So I could list them all and then filter them based on the state selected. So you only see those local government if you use Bauchi State. So for those of you that can relate, this is somewhere we apply choice filter. I apply choice filter personally a lot, especially with local government in Nigeria and the wards. So we have a list of wards in Nigeria and the list of local government, but they're filtered based on state. So at the start, you only see 36 states and the FCT, which is 37 options, and then based on the option you select, you see the number of local governments for that state. Then you see the number of wards for each local government you select, and so you can have more layer of choice filter if you want. So I hope you understood choice filter, and leave in the comment how you think this can be used and how it can help you in your upcoming project or project you've worked on. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, don't forget to click the thumbs up. If you didn't, click the thumbs down so I would know. Leave a comment on any suggestions or any clarifications you might have. Thank you very much, and see you in the next one.